Salutations, friends! I'm Pietro, and today we are going to be playing a Tethmos High Priest Abzan deck. And if you've never seen this before, it's going to be a deck full of small interactive creatures and a couple of combat tricks or pump spells that we can actually use to bring our creatures back from the graveyard. Let's check it out. So, this is Tethmos High Priest. It's a creature from way back, probably Born of the Gods, maybe Theros. And this is a creature that for a long time people wanted downshifted into pauper, but it just never came. It never showed up. And then eventually, a few years later, it got downshifted in one of the Jumpstart decks. And it's a creature that allows us to get back any creature from our graveyard that costs 2 or less, as long as we target this creature with a spell. It's very important to mention that it's a spell, not ability. So if we decide to Basilisk Gate, for example, our creature, it's not gonna reanimate anything. However, there are quite a few creatures in Pauper that are pretty good right now that cost 2 or less. And that's mostly because of the metagame. So this deck is going to play sort of like a toolbox deck in a way, where we have some niche creatures that fulfill specific roles. We are going to have Satyr Wayfinder and Town Greeter, which are going to be our find land drops, mill our creatures into the graveyard type of things. We have Masked Vandal for artifacts and enchantments. We have then Mesmeric Fiend for hand disruption, a lot of combo decks running around right now. Accursed Marauder as just a overall removal spell. Accursed Marauder very good against like the terror decks and things of that nature. And then we have our Thrill of the Hunt and our Homestead Courage, our two pump spells / combat tricks of choice. The ones that we are going to be using mostly or hopefully from the graveyard, costing 1 mana. Some versions of the deck play Travel Preparations, which is a 2 mana 1 that allows you to target 2 creatures. But I tried that a lot and I didn't enjoy that card at all. Probably the more spicy one is going to be Pit Keeper, which is a 2 mana creature that allows us to get back a creature from our graveyard. So it's a Grave Digger effect, as long as we have 4 or more creature cards in our graveyard. All right, so welcome to round number 1. We are on the play against. Let's see, we would like to be on the play. No lands, we can't keep this hand. And here we have a land that has 2 lands with our colors of mana. We have some mill creatures to try and hit something, and we have, unfortunately, 2 Thrill of the Hunt. We are going to keep this hand, but I don't want 2 of this card. And I am going to start on Manor Gate naming black, because depending on what we are facing, I would like the option, if we hit an untapped land, of casting one of our 2 drops. It's a swamp into Mortician Beetle. Okay, so we are playing against Black Sacrifice. Untapped land, no such luck. So we are just going to play a Citadel Gate, and we are going to name green again. What I found playing with the other versions of this deck before is that a lot of the time you just really need multiple lands that generate white mana towards the middle to late game, because these are going to be the lands that will allow you to like play a creature plus bring back something from your graveyard. So our opponent played a couple of dorks, nothing too exciting over here. Now we have some choices. We can play one of our Wayfinder effects to try and hit something, or we could try to play a Mesmeric Fiend and try to maybe punch a hole in our opponent's hand. I think that they just have so many things in play that it might be necessary for us to find our more interactive cards. I don't actually know if that's true, because this is supposedly 3 damage next turn, maybe 5 if our opponent sacrifices their creatures right now. So I think I am going to attempt to see what is going on. Mesmeric Fiend. Okay, so our opponent is playing a Dark Ritual variant. Not super sure why, but I am happy with hitting a Supernatural Stamina. This card would give them a lot of squirrels next turn if they had the chance to play it. and I will just name white here and pass the turn. Okay, opponent didn't sacrifice anything at their end step, so I would imagine they are just going to attack for 3, which we will take, and they just pass the turn. Great for us. I am going to try and hit an untapped land here. We did not, but we did hit a couple Homestead Courages. Now, do we maybe want to do something with this right away? And I think so. We could try to ambush our opponent in combat, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. I think I'm just going to boost my Mesmeric Fiend a little bit, crash in for 2. 2 damage is not nothing, and the fact that our Mesmeric Fiend is at 2, and our opponent just straight up concedes. Wow, okay. So I guess we took their stamina, and then they probably drew a couple lands in a row, so their draw just didn't function, and I'm pretty sure our opponent knows what we're up to. So I will expect some more graveyard disruption. So for this reason, I'm going to bring in the Mesmeric Fiends. Mesmeric Fiends are pretty good. Let's change this to a card view. I think it's better for you guys to follow along. Yeah. So I don't need Masked Vandals. They're not going to hit anything in this matchup. Dust to Dust, Fairy Macabre, nothing. Tamiyo's Safekeeping could be good, just as sometimes they like block and make my thing indestructible. Accursed Marauders could be decent because sometimes they are going to hit the creatures that actually matter. But I think that as soon as our opponent figures out that we are using this, they are going to lose their potency real quick. So I'm going to cut a couple of them down. And I think that's that. We could bring in Fairy Macabre to try and stop our opponent from comboing us with double Perigee Beckoner, but I'm not so sure I want to be starting off the game like this. So this is a hand that doesn't have black mana, but we do have double Wayfinder effect. The hand's not exciting, but I think our opponent's deck is not so fast as to be able to just run us over before we get a chance to Mesmeric Fiend them. Opponent plays a land into Carrion Feeder. Okay, so they start off with one of their better creatures. Oh, great. Manor Gate, naming black is perfect. We are going to have the mana that we need next turn. And I am just going to, okay, Nezumi Link Breaker, immediately Village Rites. Okay, are you also sacrificing to get in for 2? No, just for 1. So considering our opponent has 4 cards in hand, I am interested in just Mesmeric Fiend to try and put a hole in their hand. Maybe they have a removal spell that we can take. They don't. So Blood Throne Vampire is another sacrifice outlet. Dark Ritual, again, they probably drew it now, because if they had it at the start of the turn, they would have cast it already. I think Bloodthrone Vampire and Carrion Feeder compete for the same resource, because they both want to be sacrificing creatures. So I'm just going to be taking the Mortician Beetle here, and then if we have a chance next turn, I'll play another Mesmeric Fiend to get something else more important, but from the way things are looking, okay, opponent plays the Swamp. I think they're just gonna play the Vampire and pass, or so they play Crawl from the Cellar, returning the Nezumi Link Breaker, and they get a counter on their Carrion Feeder. Yeah, that's pretty good. So do I want to block here? Because if I block, I kill their creature, and then I can play a second. No, I don't think so. I think we're okay. I'll just take the 3 damage. Another tap land is, again, excellent because it gives us the chance of just playing a Mire Triton, which is a Death Touch creature, very good at trading here on this board. We mill Thrill of the Hunt and Raffines, that's fine. I'll just play another tap land and I'll name white. Pass the turn. Oh, my graveyard's popping like crazy here. So if opponent attacks with either Carrion Feeder or Bloodthrone Vampire, I am blocking 100% with the Mire Triton. 2 mana, 4. Ooh, and there's the Perigee Beckoner. So where are you pumping? Pumping the Nezumi Link Breaker? Okay, and they do attack with everything. So I could either kill the creature that has the biggest burst potential, or the one that has the steadiest growth. I think I'm just gonna block the Bloodthrone Vampire here. I am 100% okay with trading here. and I think this is one of the creatures that can punk us out the most. Like if our opponent gets a chance to find a Rite of Corruption, they can just sacrifice their board and fireball us, and I would rather not have that happen. So we trade. Our opponent gets a couple knuckleheads. They still just have a Dark Ritual in hand, so I'm not interested in Mesmeric Fiend here. I am interested, however, in playing a Wayfinder, seeing what we get. So there's the High Priest and the Pit Keeper. So if we hit another High Priest, we can chain our creatures together. However, right now that doesn't seem to be the case. I will just take a Basilisk Gate because this land is excellent for us. And considering that our opponent knows about it, maybe I just play it? Actually, I don't think that's true, right? I think I'll take the chance here to play the Citadel Gate, and I'll choose black for this one. And then I think I'll just... Oh, I can't do the thing that I wanted. Whoops! Messed up my colors here. Oh well. It is what it is. I was going to Thrill of the Hunt. Not Thrill of the Hunt. I was going to Homestead Courage one of my creatures to make it a 2/2, and then just use it as a little bit of offense and defense. Okay? Oh, so I think our opponent is just going to hard cast the Perigee Beckoner here. 5 mana. Yep, it comes back from Warp. And having this creature in play is a problem, because if they hit another one, they can just do their thing. I think I'm just going to soak the most damage, because if I just block here, then we take 7, 8. We go down to 6. Not great. But then maybe we... Not maybe, then we probably keep our creature. Do I want to do... I think so. I think I'll just block here. We do need to find one of our lifelink creatures somewhat fast. Okay, opponent just trades. Okay, Rafine's Informant does something. I am going to tap like this. I found while playing this deck that the way you tap your lands is incredibly important. A lot of the time you're going to tap your lands wrong and then you get got by your own cards. So don't do that if you can. I think I'm just discarding a Mesmeric Fiend here. It doesn't have any text, and I would rather have my Rafine's Informant be a 3/2. So I am actually going to play my land first, so I can immediately tap it. And yeah, I'll play a Town Greeter. Another Basilisk Gate, but we also milled another Tethmos. So now, do we want the permanent counter, or would we rather have a combat trick? And considering that the counter doesn't do anything for us right now, since they have a 4/5, I'm just gonna hold up the Thrill of the Hunt, and we'll see what our opponent decides to do. We are not doing great this game. Our opponent's draw was very aggressive. Okay, Shambling Ghast also not the best, because they can use it to attempt to kill one of our creatures. And they will. Let's see what they try to do with this. So they're trying to kill our Mesmeric Fiend. I will just Thrill of the Hunt to try and protect it. Having a 2/3 is not nothing this turn, because even though it turns into a 1/2, it still blocks the small creatures. So they pump the Link Breaker, and are you getting in? Yes. So our Mesmeric Fiend no longer just blocks this. I would rather not give them back a Mortician Beetle, and I can't really, like, multi-block. Oh, well, I guess that's not true, right? So let's say I block like this. That's 4 damage on the Carrion Feeder. Our opponent would need to sacrifice 2 creatures to have this be out of range, but that would reduce the damage we take now by 2. Yeah, we're not doing too hot here. But I do think that's probably our best bet, since we can't really block profitably anymore. I guess maybe we just put our Mesmeric Fiend there and sort of force our opponent to do something, because they can either... But then they trade with everything, we're left with nothing. This is a hard block. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this and hope the top of our deck delivers. Okay, so opponent is going to make the play that I mentioned. They're going to sacrifice Nezumi Link Breaker twice. Yeah, like sacrifice plus 1 of the tokens. They get left with 3 creatures, but we do save 2 points of damage, but we need to hit here. We did not. And that's it for us. So we didn't draw very well, and our opponent's draw very strong. On the play, I think that on the play, I don't know. I was gonna mention that we could bring in Fairy Macabre to try and like mess up our opponent's play, bringing back the creatures, but I don't even know if we want to do that. I think we just want to land a lifelink creature early and just kind of ride it into victory. This hand is fine. Yeah. We have our colors, we have an early creature, we have a Tethmos. I am going to start here and I am just going to choose black because we already have green mana. And the Thrill of the Hunt is probably just going to be discarded. Okay, Homestead Courage is also pretty good. I'll just play a Raffine's. Draw. Good. Discard. I think I'll discard the Homestead Courage. The fact that it's a sorcery makes it so the unexpected aspect of Thrill of the Hunt could be better. Sure, sure. Are you attacking? No, you are not. That's very good for us. And another safekeeping. So this is actually a little awkward. Again, because of the color of mana that I had, there's no way we can play a double green spell this turn. Like, play a green spell plus another one, right? Double spell. So, I think maybe I just Wayfinder and try to hit a green source. So, let's think about this for a second. I can Wayfinder plus maybe hit a green spell, or I can Basilisk Gate, Homestead Courage, the Raffine's Informant, attack, have a 4/3. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with that. So I'm going to Homestead Courage first. Important to note, it gives our creature vigilance for 1 turn. So our opponent cannot kill it here. I mean, I guess they can, but they would have to sacrifice a lot of resources. So they just take 4. Then we play Basilisk Gate, and let's Wayfinder. And we don't hit, which is not great. But it means that if we had tried to do the other play where we spike an untapped green source, we would have had a lot of trouble. So it's not the end of the world. Ooh, Perigee Beckoner is very good. Yep. Are you attacking? You are. So I'm just blocking here and here? Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. What is this? Stamina? Just village rights. Okay, so a lot of things are happening here. Our opponent, and okay, now I see. So they are gonna pump their Mortician Beetle to a very large creature here. It's gonna be like a 5-power creature, I think? Or, yep. And then they can sacrifice the Shambler. No, they just sacrifice the thing. Okay, so very explosive play from our opponent. Now they have a 5/5 and a 4/4, and we miss on our land drop again. Yeah, that's not great. So I think right now we're just at a point where we play this and we hope, because we are going to take a lot of damage this next turn. That's unfortunate. Our opponent had a great play, and we missed our lands. Another Beckoner. So I think this might just be lethal. Wow, that's 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. But that doubles if opponent sacrifices everything to like 20 something. So I think this is just a lethal attack, right? Because if I don't block anything, our opponent gets to grow 6 times to 15, and then this is just 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't think we have a shot if we don't take a chance. So I'm just going to hope my opponent doesn't see that they have lethal here, because otherwise, if we just block with the Tethmos, we're just dead. Yeah, and our opponent sees the play, of course. Welcome to round number 2. We are on the draw against Sully Crusher, and we are going to keep this hand. It has an Outlaw Medic if we need, and we are playing against Tron straight up. So let's think about this. They didn't do anything turn 1, so that leads me to believe it's likely Flickertron. Either way, we really need our black mana at some point to play either a Cursed Marauder or Mesmeric Fiend, and it is Flickertron. Okay, so that's a Prism. Turn 2. I don't know. No, yeah, I think I would rather just have the white mana in play. And I don't think Outlaw Medic does much. So we're just going to Town Greeter. Basilisk Gate is great. So this is probably going to be a grindy game. but the fact that we already have multiple pieces of interaction with Tethmos is pretty good. Ooh, Masked Vandal is excellent here. Our opponent is possibly holding a Prohibit, but I guess I'll make them have it. No, that's not true. Guess I'll attempt to rumble first, and it just resolves. Yeah, I think I'll just take another Basilisk Gate, and then I'll just forest and attempt to cast a Masked Vandal. Also resolves. Excellent. I just get rid of an Outlaw Medic. Or are you flickering? Okay, so opponent is flickering their Prophetic Prism and their island. The island itself doesn't matter too much, but they are flickering so they don't lose the prism. I mean, sure, we didn't get to hit their mana rock out of play, but we also just got a prism out of their hand early. A flicker out of their hand early. And they just get another island. Okay. Is now the time to start getting our creatures back? I don't think that's the case. I think we can just attempt to find some better creatures. So let's crash in for 2. Our opponent can have Bojuka Bog in this game. That's very relevant. Black, green, Mire Triton, mill 2. That's another Tethmos. That's okay. Play the Basilisk Gate our opponent knows about. Outlaw Medic. Pass the turn. And the reason that I'm deploying multiple creatures here, another Cryogen. The reason I'm deploying multiple creatures here is because the fact that our opponent is playing Relic means that they can start tapping down our creatures on repeated turns. Another Prism. Okay. And if they start doing that, it's not great for us. I would rather just be attacking turn after turn. Now, we have some choices here to make. Currently, we're attacking for 5, bringing our opponent to 12, which could theoretically be lethal next turn if we double activate the Basilisk Gate, or I could just attempt to grow our board a little bit, but then I don't get to Basilisk Gate this turn. Choices, choices. Also, the white thing that I mentioned is very relevant here. Our opponent, we only have currently 1 white source in play, and we would need to play a plains to be able to do something else, right? So in which case, I think I would just rather play this, play the Tethmos, play a Manor Gate, tapped, in for 4, and then we are holding up Thrill of the Hunt in case our opponent attempts to do something, and we have the flexibility of deciding how we want to use this at the end of our turn. Our opponent currently very far away from Tron. They would need to have crop rotation plus another Tron land in hand. Or I guess double crop rotation would do as well, right? 2 mana, sacrifice the relic. What are you trying to tap down? The Mire Triton, that's fine. Most of my damage is gonna come from the gates anyway. Crack the other one. Energy Refractor. Okay. And a passing of the turn. So we currently have 35 points of damage. I think I'm just going to try and do this at the end of turn for a Raffine's, because the Raffine's is a loot and 3 damage. Yeah, I'll just discard the planes. I mean, it turned out to be only 2 damage, but that's mostly fine. Opponent is going to discard. 8 cards in hand. Discards a Teachings. Okay. The Homestead Courage here means we have quite a bit of damage. So I think we just have lethal as is, right? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we would need 1 more point of damage. Okay, so in this case, then I'm going to pump what? The Vandal? I think the Vandal, right? Tap here and here. Vandal goes to 5. We have lethal damage here. The only thing is if our opponent has some sort of weird interaction. But it would have to be something very strange. I guess if they have like crop rotation into a Radiant Fountain, they would go up to 14. Okay, that just resolves. And then I'll just cast the Homestead Courage from my graveyard here on the Tethmos. And I'll attempt to bring back, I guess, just an Outlaw Medic since our Pit Keeper doesn't work. And that's just lethal. 8, 10, 12. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we just win. Great. So that was pretty good. Our opponent stumbled a little bit, but I also think that the fact that we took their flicker from their hand early meant that they didn't have a chance to just use it to draw 4 a couple turns down the line. because if they used it just as a 3 mana save a prism, draw a card, they don't get the chance to use it for their other modes later on. Now, let's see here. Masked Vandals, good. Dust to Dust, good. Mesmeric Fiends, good. Accursed Marauder, good, but I don't think I need as many. Maybe like 2 will be enough. Pit Keeper is decent, but I don't think it's what the matchup is about. I don't expect our opponent to be killing our creatures a lot. I need 2 more cuts. Think I'm fine cutting a Homestead Courage and probably just, what's our worst creature here? The Outlaw-matic? Could even cut 2 of them and keep, yeah, I think I'll keep the Courage, cut 1 more Matic. And, oh, Fairy Macabre, of course, has a lot of potential in this matchup, exiling the cards from their graveyards and whatnot, but I think I would rather, nah, I was going to say that I think I would rather be more proactive. That's not 100% true, is it? Because we're on the draw. Okay, I talked myself into it. I'll just cut all the Outlaw Medics and I'll bring in 2 Fairy Macabre. Fairy Macabre also can just be discarded for the purposes of exiling it with the Masked Vandal. Okay, opponent's on the play now. This hand only has 1 mana. This hand has 3, but none of them produce colored mana. And this is another thing that I felt with the deck a little bit while I was playing. We are playing a 3-color deck that just has 4 lands that don't produce any color mana. So it's not always the most stable. This hand, on the other hand, is just fine. We have probably our 2 best early pieces of interaction here. We do not have white mana, and that is a huge problem, but I feel like we'll... Yikes. I feel like we'll find it eventually. White card on turn 2 is not what I wanted to see here. Okay, cycling the Lorien Revealed, that's fine. And a Cryogen. Not the best, but okay. So I'll just Forest, play Mesmeric, try to disrupt our opponent's hand. Wow. So if I take the Prism here, I leave them with the possibility of Tron. Also, they don't get to cast the Mycelian Elder, so yeah, I'm just taking the Prism 100%, and that's 5 cards. Okay, now we left our opponent with a hand that theoretically has Tron, but it doesn't have any colored mana, and I think that's fine by me. Okay, Rumble here is pretty good. I'm just going to be attacking for 1, and even though I would like to do a second Mesmeric Fiend here, I think it's more important to find white mana. Again, I could try to... No, not even try, right? Because I can guarantee if I Basilisk Gate into Rumble, into Mesmeric Fiend, but then what am I trying to hit with this Mesmeric Fiend? Maybe just the Stonehorn, because it's annoying? But then our next turn play is not great. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Rumble here in an attempt to find white mana. And we did not find white mana. We did find a Tethmos, which could bring back the Masked Vandal, but we don't have the mana to cast the Tethmos yet. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Vandal here. And unfortunately, we don't hit any colored mana, so I can't even do another play this turn. Not the best. Is our opponent cracking their Relic, knowing that we have a Vandal in hand now? They are. Yeah, I agree. I think they are in enough of a desperate situation where they should just get rid of it now. So our opponent played a Tron land that we didn't know about. Instead of playing the mine that we had already seen, they played another power plant. This means that we don't have anything to do with our mana this turn other than play a Mesmeric Fiend or activate the Basilisk Gate. I guess I'll just play my Mesmeric Fiend again, right? Yeah, I mean, I can play a Masked Vandal, but there's nothing to hit. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Our opponent could have cycled. Do they not have any dual lands in their deck? That's very surprising. I guess I'll just take the card that they potentially can cast. And do I want this in play as a beater? I don't think I do. So they played the land we did know about. Okay, I guess I'll just... Oh, I should have activated the Basilisk Gate, 100%. I should not have just passed the turn here. Oh well, it is what it is. 5 mana, Mnemonic Wall, okay. So I do have an answer for that, but they get their Lorien Revealed back, and they did play another Tron land that we didn't know about. Draw. Yep, guess we'll stick to our plan, right? I'll actually tap the Basilisk Gate, just play the Accursed Marauder, sacrifice, and keep getting in. Let's attack with the Eldrazi Spawn to send a message. So now they can hardcast the Lorien Revealed, because they hit a blue source, but they still don't play anything. Okay, we'll keep trying, and we still don't hit. Wow. So, yeah, I think I just have to take the Town Greeter and do it immediately. Man, that's insane. What? Green, 2 mana. Yeah, okay. Finally, okay. So we are just gonna take a Citadel Gate here, play the Citadel Gate, and what's the second color that we want? Probably black? We have green, green, now we have 1 white, probably black. Could be green though. Yeah, let's go with green, I think, and keep hitting. I think it's really hard to believe that our opponent doesn't have a rock in hand. I think they just chose not to play it last turn because they knew we would hit it with a Masked Vandal. That's another Lorien revealed. So they don't have Tron. Okay, so it looks like our plan of just hitting their first Prophetic Prism in hand just completely made their game plan fall apart. There's a rock. Okay. And I think they're just playing this because they are going to have to discard otherwise. Crop rotation. Okay. All right. Sacrifice a mine. They get a tower. Play another rock. Expedition map. Are you cracking that immediately? I would imagine so. You're not? Okay. So again, we have some more choices here. So unfortunately, I don't have 6 mana to play all of my little hate bears, right? But we have the option here of either exiling both of their artifacts or hitting their hand and then exiling their prism. And I think we probably need to hit their hand first so that we can see what's up. Okay, so our opponent, again, still, let me just try to figure this out. They have 7 cards in hand. That's 7. Okay. So they still don't have any colored mana, meaning that I can take the flicker and then they have to crack the map for a land that produces colored mana, and then they get to play their things. So which card is the most annoying one here? And I do think it's just the Ghostly Flicker still, right? That's not true. Maybe it's the Stonehorn? Because then I force them to keep Moment's Peace up, but at the same time, yeah, I think Flicker is just the most annoying card in hand. So I guess I'll just take that. And then I'll Masked Vandal, hit the Prism. They knew about this. Now, if we knew our opponent had no colored mana in hand, I would have just hit both of their artifacts. But this is not a thing. We didn't have the information before, unfortunately. And now I think I'm just putting a counter on my creature and getting in. Yeah, let's just crash in. 4 damage, they go to 9. As expected. Crack the map. I imagine okay, I was going to say a Pylons or a Crystal Grotto. There's the Pylons. They bin a Mycelian Elder, and now they get to cast something. They get 1 colored spell here, or 2. Okay. Cryogen, into Refractor, into Mycelian Elder. Yeah, the Refractor is very good for them. Yeah, and they also get to play the Stonehorn. Okay. So, which land did they play? Did they not play a land? Because they had a tower in hand, right? So Mesmeric Fiend, they played the Pylons, of course. They cracked the map for the Pylons. Okay. Hitting the land here, not good, but at least it's a mana source. We only have 1 white mana, and I guess I'll use it on this Fiends. Mesmeric Fiend number 4. Yeah. I think it's just more important to hit their main source of colored mana. And I'll just exile the other Tethmos? No, probably just exile the Masked Vandal, I think. Okay. I don't think there's any good attacks to be made. There's no way I can... Oh, I can't even have an attack phase. My opponent just played Stonehorn. Never mind. So there are some cards here that would be bad news. If our opponent has like Teachings into Breath Weapon, we're just dead, I think. Because they get back almost all of their cards. Okay, map. Yep. I do need to play faster. I'm 8 minutes behind my opponent. Bajuka Bog. Okay, Bajuka Bog's annoying. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it is annoying. They're not attacking still. Draw a card. That's mana that we don't really need anymore, but I'll take it. And then I guess I'll just start punching in, right? And I'm going to attack first and see what happens after. Because I am casting this other Mesmeric Fiend. Again, I'm doing this creature first because I imagine they are just going to tap it afterwards. You're just going to take 7. Okay. So they're just taking damage because they have the Moment's Peace, but I'm going to try and see if I can stop that from happening. They just have double Moment's Peace in hand. Okie dokie. So I guess I'll do the right thing, right? Oh, and they hit a Refractor? That sucks. Okay, another Relic. Sure. A Prism. Now they're just doing their thing. Play a Tower that we knew about. Yeah, our opponent just hit like, just went from 2 Fogs in hand to, and no Mana Rocks to 3 Mana Rocks. That's the power of Tron. It's a great deck. I guess I'll just Greeter, hit another Basilisk Gate. That's what I wanted. Play it. And I can't really, I mean, it's not gonna work this turn, but starting next turn, oh, I guess I should have left a white up, huh? Do I just want to attack with everything? I do, right? Yeah, because then we force our opponent can just chump block. They need to cast the Moment's Peace. Yep. Okie dokie. I don't imagine our opponent is going to be attacking back, and even if they are, I could just chump with one of our dorks. Okay. Impulse is not the end of the world. 3/5 wall. Yeah, now it's bad. They probably just take the impulse again. Yep, just trying to find a breath weapon. Cast it. 3 mana. Flicker. Okay, so right now we are locked out of attacks unless we find something to stop that from happening. Dust to dust does something. White, white, something. Guess I'll dust to dust your colored generation. Is this just unwind? Just flicker. Oh, they're just gonna flicker twice. Yeah, okay. So we are just dead here. Our opponent now has all the mana that they need, and I think we are just dead to the wizard token. Okay, so that wasn't great, but we also missed our tempo window quite a bit, I think. I think I'm gonna bring back one Accursed Marauder, and I think we probably just cut both Homestead Courages and bring in more interaction. So I think I want the 3rd Fairy Macabre. And I think that's it, right? And we're just sort of like praying it works out for us. Because I think the reason we lost that game is because we lost the tempo, right? We started off strong with multiple disruptive creatures, but then we just didn't get a chance to capitalize because we didn't have the white mana that we needed. There was also an attack that I missed a couple points, literally I think 2 points of damage, where I could have pumped with a Basilisk Gate very early on, but I didn't. Not that I think that would have been the difference in the game. I think we were pretty in trouble already. And this hand kind of has the same problem as the last one, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep it. At least I think that this time we have the luxury of having multiple black and green cards that we can cast early on. Okay. We do need to hit a creature, a land here though. Do I just want green mana or do I... Ah no, it's Citadel Gate. Never mind, Citadel Gate is the obvious choice. I was going to say that I thought it was Heap Gate, and then Heapgate would have been a land that could generate colored mana, but kind of. I'm just going to be attacking. I imagine our opponent has either Prohibit or Impulse. I'm just going to Mesmeric Fiend regardless. It is Prohibit. Okay, so we got a counterspell out of their hand, and this other land is going to go on green probably. Okay, 2 mana, Relic, another island. Okay, Wayfinder is good. Attack. And I am just going to attempt to spike here, I think, an untapped land. We do! Hooray for us. And we mill 2 tricks into our graveyard. Now, do I want to exile this or do I want to Mire Triton? And considering we only have 1 Vandal, but we do have things in the graveyard to do, we also only have 1 white mana. Triton is also more damage overall. Guess I'll play the Triton. Okay, we hit a couple more creatures. Another Relic. They do have another land. Into a Prism. Okay, so that's the one that I'm gonna hit. Ooh! Thrill of the Hunt in hand means that we can just play that straight away. Is that better than just playing Masked Vandal? That's more mana efficient for sure. How greedy do I want to be here, right? Because hitting a land drop here would be significant for us. So I believe that I'm just going to play Tethmos, play Thrill of the Hunt, get back a Wayfinder, and we do hit a land. Great. Sure, we pump, it doesn't matter that much. Play this on white, go to punchies, hit for 4. Okay, so we took a, yeah, and our opponent has Tron. That's one of the problems, but we took a turn off to stabilize our things. Okay, I don't care about Murmuring Mystic. It's just gonna die to the Marauder. I think our opponent is hoping that this stabilizes them, but it's not gonna be the case. I'm just going to black, play this, 3 mana. Flicker? Sure, what are you flickering? Land plus Relic. Okay, so you're gonna try to do that again. That is really good. They get to draw 2 cards every time they do that. Okay, I'll just sacrifice itself. All right, I'm just gonna get in. I mean, guess I'll play this. Black. Get in for attacks. Sure, they trade with the Mire Triton. Go to 9. And then what I'm gonna do now is that I'm going to Mesmeric Fiend them inside their draw step. 3 mana, you have another Flicker? Okay. Flicker number 2. Draw, draw. So inside your draw step, I am going to bring back Mesmeric Fiend. Let's see what you got. 2 mana, 3 mana, Pulso Marasa. Okay, so they are going to Bojuka Bog. Sure, I am going to do that again, because I have more Thrill of the Hunt, and I'll attempt to do that again. Impulse, okay. So I am out of tricks for the time being. So that just resolves. Let's have a look. So that's like a handful of nothing, basically. Like the hand could be anything, but they only have 6, 7 mana left. So my choices here are, do I take the Impulse to try and stop them from finding something better to do? Or do I take the Mycelian Elder, which is a guaranteed double block? Honestly, probably just take the Mycelian Elder and let them deal with the rest. I think I'm just going to attempt to kill our opponent during my next turn. And I'm gonna F6. Impulse? Yep. So here our opponent is looking for, I would guess, Breath Weapon, Fog, Rhino, play the land we knew about. Impulse number 2. Okay, so now Rhino is off the table. It's Breath Weapon or Moment's Peace. Pulse? Pulse of Murasa. Sure, so they go to 15, and my attack is no longer lethal. That's rough. And we draw one of the worst possible cards. I think there were a lot of draws that we had here that could have just been lethal. Like a second Basilisk Gate is just lethal, but it wasn't in the cards. And I guess I'll just play another Tethmos because it survives Breath Weapon, and I'll pass. Do your thing, buddy. Playing all the prisms and rocks that we knew about. Of course, those are all good, but none of them actually give them a board. I think our opponent is bound to find something here at least. The question is, can they find something that's enough to save them from the way things are? Teachings? Flicker? What is this? 4 mana? No, take that back. Okay, so it is Fiery Cannonade. 2 damage to everything. They get their Mycelian Elder back, and the Mycelian Elder is just 2 blocks. Unfortunate. But our opponent is now tapped out, and they do just need to block. But they need to block one of our creatures, right? Not both. In which case, I will just Rafine's Informant first. Okay, Fairy Macabre is good. Fairy Macabre is very good here. I'm not going to play either of these cards. I guess if I want to keep one, it's going to be the Tethmos. So I guess I'll discard the Vandal, and then I'll just pump one of the Tethmos and send in. I mean, I guess I can send in both. I think they're just going to chump with the Wizard and block the other one, and that's going to be that. Yep. Okay, our opponent is fighting us tooth and nail here. Refractor. Yeah. Crack the Relic. Yeah, that's another thing, right? They can crack both. So I only have one attacker again next turn. Yeah, okay. That's clever. 4, Murmuring Mystic. Yeah, this one might be slipping away from us. Another Basilisk Gate is definitely good. I guess I'll play it, right? Send in. I would imagine our opponent's gonna play some instant or sorcery to get a creature. No, just jump. Ooh, okay. And guess I'll just Tethmos pass. Is our opponent okay? Is their hand just nothing? That would be crazy. They have 6 cards in hand. How is their hand nothing? Yeah, I'll pump. Nope. Undo that. So pump one of the Tethmos, pump another one, crash in. I imagine we're getting fogged. Okay, teachings. Moment's peace. Yeah, sure. They fog, they get a couple dudes, and they immediately flash back the teachings for another teachings. Okay, which they can immediately cast. They don't. Now they just hard cast Lorien Revealed. Stonehorn? Yeah, Stonehorn is very annoying. They could just attempt to beat us down. Okay, so now they do the mnemonic wall. I imagine they try to get back the flicker to flicker lock us. We have a fairy macabre to get rid of flicker, and I guess we just pray. Yeah, I think we just pray. Yep, we're just gonna get beat down here. Sure, I'll just play the Vandal, guess I'll hit something just to have an extra body in play. Play the Heap Gate, pass the turn. And that's it. We might be locked out. If I see another flicker, we're just dead. Yeah, and we are just dead. That's that. Wow, that was a very long game. Our opponent played that very well, and unfortunately, I just think we were a little slow on a couple of turns. The fact that our opponent was able to find the necessary pieces of interaction precisely when he needed them, like the pulse of Marasa to bring back the thing and get out of range of dying, and just the fact that they had like a turn where we mesmeric fiended them, and all the cards in their hand were just kind of the same. So that was bad for us. Either way, the game was really fun. The deck performed well, and we'll see you guys for round number 3. Back to round number 3. We are on the play against Rollback. This hand is fine. It's just a decent mid-rangey hand. I already have some thoughts about this deck, but being perfectly honest, I guess I'll save them for the end, right? Let's make it more interesting. I'll just show black here, and guess we can remove this draw stab from our opponent's turn. Furnace. So finally, in I believe the 4th league that we've played with this deck, we end up facing a red deck. Ooh, that's great. But maybe I want to save that? I don't think that's true, right? I think we can just play it. Forces our opponent to have an immediate answer to it, and they do need to have an immediate answer to it, because now they know that we are gates. Great Furnace number 2. Bolt. That's a fine exchange. We drew a card. Take one. No. Next play. So I think I'm just going to Wayfinder. The fact that they're playing Great Furnace means that they are either Rally Red or... I think I'll take an untapped land here. They are either Rally Red or Pinger Red. And if they give me... Oh! They are playing Lava Dart, so they are Ping Red. Pinger Red. Kessigs and Thermos. Yeah, there's a Kessig. Okay, take one. We currently just have 2 creatures in the graveyard. Guess I'll just play another Wayfinder. Okay, and now we have enough creatures where we can just Pit Keeper, getting back our Outlaw Medic. Yeah, and I'm fine getting an Outlaw Medic here. Yes, I would love to use this ability. Thank you very much. Okay, so opponent just Lava Darts? I mean, they could have done that during their turn, and Galvanic Blast. Okay, so our dorky creatures have soaked up 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 points of damage, I believe. That's pretty impressive. And they forget to attack for some reason. I will just do our thing, but I'll Raffine first. Sure. I'll discard, guess I'll discard a Manor Gate. And actually, I think I'm fine just playing a Mire Triton. Gain 2 life. Oh, we milled a Basilisk Gate. That's sad. And I'll just play another tap land. Opponent discards Mountain from hand. 3 cards in hand. Chain Lightning, the Mire Triton. I do not have the necessary mana to pay for that. And Galvanic Blasts. Okay, so our opponent is playing very controlly, but I don't know if that's what they want to be doing here. So I'll play the Outlaw Medic, and they need their last card in hand to be a Bolt. It's not. In which case, I guess I'll just play Heapgate and make a treasure at the end of turn. So in which case, this now blocks and soaks up their attacks. They are attacking. I imagine they are doing this because they found a boat. Am I fine trading? No, I don't think I need to. I think I'll just take 2 damage and then hit. Oh, forgot to make my treasure at the end of turn. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. This might be GG. Hit for 7. Okay, opponent takes it, and we are just back to 20. Bolt. Okay, so they found more removal. Okay, so they double bolt. I do not have the mana to do this. I have 1 red mana, but I don't have 2. Okay, we do need to hit creatures. Oh boy. Okay. A little worrying if we just keep hitting useless cards like this. Our opponent is just very capable of killing us over the course of 3 turns if we don't hit anything. Yeah, like that. Okay. At least this makes it so if we draw a, what's it face? Tethmos, we have something to do. But we're just taking damage here. Guess I'll do my thing, which I forgot to do for a few turns. It's relevant because I could hit. Man, really? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we might just die here. We just drew lands nonstop. Yeah, and now our opponent has 2 cards in hand. There's a pretty good chance that they just found the removal spells that they needed. Yeah, we are just dead. Wow, that's very unfortunate. We drew like 3 lands into 3 Thrill of the Hunt. Wow. Okay, so Vandals in, Mesmeric Fiends out, Safekeeping in. I don't think I want Dust to Dust. There's a lot of cases in which it's not helpful. Guess I can't cut back on like a couple Homestead Courages. Try to keep the creature count high. Okay. Wow, that is very unfortunate. But I guess when your deck decides to not play, it is what it is. This ends great. We have the collars. We have a thing to do a bit later on. So I'll play Manor Gate, white, pass the turn. I could Outlaw Medic on turn 2, but I am gonna save that for when I have Tamio Safekeeping up. We take our damage. I'll just play Town Greeter. Our opponent did mulligan to 6, and we just hit 2 Vandals at Tethmos and a Safekeeping. So no land. Synthesizer. Okay. Relic of Progenitus. That's pretty good. Opponent attacks. I will trade. They hit a mountain. So they have next turn's land drop set up for them. Guess I make my move now while we have 4 creatures in the graveyard. Oh, but I don't have black, right? I mean, I could. I could Heapgate, Filter, play Pit Keeper. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this. And then I'll just get my Tethmos back, I think. I could just get Vandal and force them to pop the Relic. But I guess I can also do that in response once I have Tethmos in play. Yes, always yes. Always yes. Always yield. Opponent, no, I guess it wouldn't have made a difference because we would have just exiled a Safekeeping. Plays Mountain, Epicure. You have a Bolt, Dart, nothing. Just a passing of the turn. Okie dokie. So I think now is when we are okay to make our play. Guess I'll Medic and Manor Gate on black. And given the situation here, I'm fine attacking. Opponent, yeah, I didn't think they were going to block. So I imagine we're going to force our opponent to waste double burn spell here. Yeah, they try to bolt. We will Thrill of the Hunt. Thrill of the Hunt? Is that the one that I want to do? I actually think I want to do Safekeeping. Even though Safekeeping is better, I would rather just... Okay, opponent forces us to exile a card, sure. Ooh, that just resolves. So we just paid 1 mana to counter our opponent's spell. We got okay, and then they killed the Peatkeeper. All right. So our Outlaw Medic survived, which is great. Means that they're going to have to spend another removal on it, and we gained our 2 life. We're gonna take 1. And then I imagine here that we are going to cast our High Priest and they're going to respond by exiling our graveyard. They really don't want to let this come into play. Oh, okay, opponent. And they didn't even force us to exile a card during the end of the turn. 2 mana, Flame Breather, sure. Do I just want to try it now? Opponent only has 1 mana up, right? So, yeah. So we're going to attempt to Thrill of the Hunt. I imagine they will try to respond. And I am going to hit the Medic here because I think it's the highest value play. Opponent attempts to pop the graveyards. Do I want to let this resolve or do I want to do it again? Because I'm still going to have a Thrill of the Hunt in the graveyard for when it matters most. Guess I'll just do it again and I'll just target the Medic once more because we're only going to have 3 creature cards. Yeah, I think I just want the Medic. So that resolves. Thrill of the Hunt resolves. Graveyards are exiled. I think opponent did this wrong. I mean, sort of, right? Because I think they should have just killed the Tethmos in response. Maybe, I don't know. Well, Raffines. Maybe they just really want to keep the Outland Medic out of play. Yeah, I'll just discard the Raffines here. Then white, Thrill of the Hunt again, bring Raffines back. Connive, sure. Discard the forest. Yeah, you can resolve. Discard the forest, cast Rumble, and there's the Basilisk Gate that we want. Manor Gate on white, and I feel comfortable getting an attack in. Opponent did have to 3-for-1 themselves because they fire blasted our guy. Actually 4-for-1, right? Because we even drew a card off of it. Okay, Rance resolves pretty good. Tomb Raider and another Kessig, but they don't have a land. So what are we drawing? Ooh, another Thrill of the Hunt. Delightful. We can't really just straight up kill our opponent, but I think we can get pretty close, right? So this is green, bring back the Marauder, sacrifice Marauder, resolves, Thrill of the Hunt again, Marauder sacrifices itself, resolves. Guess I'll just pump the Eldrazi in case it matters. And we are hitting our opponent for... This is not lethal, right? Oh, they dropped to 1? Okay. Good luck, opponent. Yep, that was a pretty good turn of events. Tomb Raider, sure. And they concede. Okay. Let's get them in game number 3 then. Is there anything that I want to change? Maybe I want a Dust to Dust, but I think the problem with Dust to Dust is that it needs 2 targets. So if our opponent doesn't open up with like a Furnace plus a Relic, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, so I think I'm okay with the way things are. I don't think there's any other cards in our deck that we really want. The important thing is to have a combination of like Medic plus Basilisk Gate. And this is a matchup where, yeah, I'm keeping this. This is a matchup, wait, am I actually keeping this though? Because we are on the draw. This is a very slow hand. So say we play a tap land and our opponent, did they keep? What did they do? They capped with 7. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this hand. I think, okay, this is so much better. Yeah. So in this one, I think I'm just getting rid of the Marauder, even though it has the potential to be really good. What I was going to say, okay, was that if our opponent opened up with like Furnace, Tomb Raider, I think the chance that we just die before we get to stabilize is too high. So I wanted a hand that could actually play Magic on turn 2. And we got it. There is a hand that plays. Ooh, and there's the Tomb Raider. Did they just draw this? Oh, and they kept a 1-lander. Okay. We're gonna follow the same advice as last time. I'll just start off with a Wayfinder. We hit a land, pretty good. Few creatures to the bin. And then I think, do I block is the question. Sure, you can get rid of a informant. Do I block is the question here, right? Well, seems like our opponent doesn't have a second land. Do I want to maybe help them? And I think this is actually an interesting question, because if we just take it, we go to 15, we have a guy, right? Yeah, I think I'm okay not blocking, just taking the damage here. Untapped land? No untapped land, but it is a really good hit. Yeah, I guess I'll just do this then this turn. Vandal, what am I getting rid of here? Their land? Probably, right? Sure, you can exile one of my cards, the other one is gonna hit. I think I'm fine just hitting their Great Furnace here. We have blockers, we have a few life gain creatures. This is a deck that does need to hit its land drops to keep deploying pressure. At this point, am I comfortable blocking? I think so, because if they hit a land, sure, good for them. If they don't, they're just so screwed, and they don't. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. White, ta-da, Automatic. The doctor is in, and I'll just play a tapped land. We have the Tameo safekeeping to protect it, and we have the Basilisk Gate next turn for the knockout. They found a land. Do you have Are you playing your other Tomb Raider? They just chain lightning. We have the protection spell. We gain 2 life. Our opponent's spell fizzles. And now we knock them out. Basilisk Gate. Tap, tap, bump, hit for 5. And then I think we just play another one. Yep. And the reason I'm gonna play another one here is because if I would imagine they have another 3 damage burn spell in hand. Okay, synth. So they hit another land. Are you going to hold? Yes. So our opponent is going to hold in an attempt. Ooh, that's so good. Okay. Yeah, I think we just. I was gonna say that we pump separate creatures. Yeah, I think I'm actually fine just doing that. I'll just pump like Wayfinder, and then I'll pump the Vandal. They bolt a medic. Okay. I am just gonna hit them. Sure. Hit them for a lot. And they have this turn to kill me. They block. Yep. So they're gonna go down to 3. It is possible that they just kill all of our creatures here. Definitely. But that would require like maybe another land. Chain Lightning, okay. So it dies, we draw a card. Exiled, sure. Do you have another thing? Blast, okay. They don't attack because they need to chump. I'll start off easy, pump this. I just pump it once, no need to do it twice. Okay, opponent's gonna chump block. Then we are going to black, play Mire Trident, gain some life, gain some dudes. Play another Basilisk Gate. Whoop, we need green mana for this. And play a Wayfinder. And I'm just interested in doing this so that we can expand our board, mostly. Because now that our opponent is at 3, any creature that we have is always going to be lethal. Epicure, sure. They have a blocker. Blast, okay. Do you have something else? I guess I'll get rid of the safekeeping. The thrill of the hunt here means that we can protect one of our creatures in case we need to. Bump here. Da. I have to remember to tap the lands first when it comes to Basilisk Gate. And let's get in. Yep. And we win that last game. So this is the reason why a lot of the burn decks are giving up on the artifact package. The fact that sometimes you can just get mana screwed by your own cards. I'll take a win whenever I can get it. We are now 1 and 2. Let's go to round number 4. Welcome back to round number 4. We are on the draw against Navier Stokes. This hand is very mana heavy. We have a Raffine's to try and smooth it out. I don't know what our opponent is playing. I think this is a mulligan. This is another mulligan. This is a keep. So guess I'll get rid of the thrill of the hunt. And we can have all of our colors. Guess I'll keep one of each creature because they are all better in different matchups. So this is either Jund or a version of Rakdos Aggro. I'll play this on black. And guess we'll find out what flavor of black-red our opponent is. Okay, that could also just be affinity. Turn 2 refurb is actually very good for us. It means that it's not any version of burn. So guess I'm just discarding the informant and hitting their land on turn 2, right? Maybe the Informant is, but nah, I think my Triton is better than Rafine's Informant in this version. In this matchup, I should say. So, yep, I'll just Vandal, hit their colored source. Could still be Affinity or Jund. It is Jund, okay. So the fact that we hit their turn 2 land is actually very relevant here. And we also have a chance of finding our other guy. I will Rumble first, in case we hit an untapped land. We did, but do we want that? Basilisk Gate can be really good, but I think considering our current situation, I just want another land that produces colored mana, and I'll play this one on green again. Hit for one. Now, Jund is an atrocious matchup for us because they have all the things that we don't want to see. They have Chrysalis, which just chump blocks our life gain creatures forever, and we don't gain any life because of the spawns. They have Krark-Clan Shaman plus Toxin Analysis to clear most of our board most of the time. They have a lot of main deck graveyard hate, so I don't think this is going to be a good matchup for us, but we did get a pretty good start. We hit their land on turn 2, we cut one of their collars off for a little bit. Okay, I am just going to attack, hit for 1. Guess I'll Wayfinder first, in case we hit another colored land. We do. We mill a Tethmos High Priest. Do I want to just play another creature here, or do I want to take it slow? And I actually think we just take it slow for now. Black. They crack the landscape at the end of turn. Getting another red, another black. Okie dokie. 2 mana. Wildfire, get another black and another bridge. Okay. Guess I'll start with Rafines. I guess I'm just discarding a land here and accepting that Rafines is going to be worse because of it. Hit for 2. I'll play Outlaw Medic. And now comes the question, am I playing another land? And I think I am. And the question is, the reason I ask that is because if my opponent has another refurb, I would rather discard a land than a Mire Triton. But I think in this matchup, lands are just very important when they are gates. Opponent gonna crack the Wellspring with an Offering, draw up to 8 cards in hand. Things don't look too bad right now, but the second our opponent is stable enough to land a Chrysalis, our attacks are dead on the water. I imagine our opponent just keeps pressuring us here. I don't think there's any reason for them not to. Yep. The biggest problem, I believe, is that Jund is just the quality of their cards is just so much higher than ours. We are like a small creature synergy deck. Yep, there's the Krark land that I mentioned, which can just immediately wipe our whole board if they want, and they do want. Are you cracking the refurb or are you cracking a land? They're just cracking a land, okay? So our whole board is gone. Okay, okay. So Tethmos is decent here, but I don't have enough mana to do everything, right? So what do I want to do? I can cut them off of green mana. That could be pretty good. Or am I waiting for more cards from the graveyard? I could also just get rid of their refurb. There's no way I can do everything. And they do have a lot of graveyard hate in the deck. So do I take a small play and be satisfied? Do I try to mana screw them? This is surprisingly a very difficult question. I think I go with the Tethmos play because otherwise, if they exile my graveyard, the Tethmos doesn't do anything. And I think I want to do this now. Thrill of the Hunt. Gonna do this now while they can't respond. And what am I doing? Am I hitting their collar? Am I hitting their refurbished? Am I just getting another creature to get hit more land drops? This is extremely hard. I think that I get the Wayfinder and I attempt to find my Basilisk Gates. We don't, but we find another Thrill of the Hunt. Okay, that's not too bad. I could do the same play again. Would have loved to find a land drop there. Yeah, and then now I think I just take the Vandal. And I am actually going to get rid of their refurbished. I think they just have too many. I'm just going to get rid of the Mesmeric Fiend. It's not good in this matchup. And the reason that I'm getting rid of the refurb is because this matchup can tend to go very long, and if I can permanently exile their Blood Fountain targets, I think it's pretty good. 2, 3. 4. There comes the Chrysalis. Yup. 2 mana. Cast down Tethmos. Okay. Do you have your Nile Spellbomb? Munitions? No, just another wildfire. Okay, so even though, like, I could have hit, that's pretty good. Not right now, but that is pretty good. Even though I could have hit their green source, they had another wildfire that they could have used to find another green source, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. I am going to Mire Triton first. We didn't hit anything interesting. We can't attack. Guess I'll just play Outlaw Medic and pass the turn. Chrysalis is such a huge problem for us. It's just the biggest creature ever. Mire Triton, sure, can attack into it, can block it. Yeah, it's one of the reasons the card is in the deck. But also, the fact that the Chrysalis comes with 3 blockers is really bad. And yeah, and there's the thing. Another refurb, getting rid of our Tethmos. Another Krarklan Shaman. What is this? You're just gonna wipe the board immediately? 1, 2. Yeah, just immediately wipe the board and draw 2 cards. Yup. My guys die, we draw a card, and Bajuka Bug, and at this point I am comfortable conceding the game. And that's what I mean, like Krarklan Shaman just blows us out of the water. It's a really bad card for us to fight against. Well, guess we will attempt to use our Dust to Dusts, get our Masked Vandals, cut Mesmerics. They're not going to be good here. What else? This is a very grindy matchup. Safekeeping could be good, but I don't know. Guess I'll just cut back on the Courages and accept that they are going to be way worse. If I'm actually cutting back on these, maybe I cut back on a Tethmos and a Homestead Courage, because the Tethmos by itself doesn't do a lot. And I think our plan right now is to just attempt to mana screw our opponent. Alright, so on the play. This hand plays, but I don't feel like it does a lot. I guess we have a Tethmos. Is this good enough? I don't know, but honestly, I just think mulliganing against Jund is such a losing proposition in and of itself. I'm actually gonna choose white here, despite already having a white mana, because if I top deck Dust to Dust, I want to be able to cast it. Bridge, Wayfinder, set up our 3rd land drop. I want the Citadel Gate. One of the things that I considered with this deck was that instead of playing 3 of Wayfinder, 3 of Town Greeter, I should play some number of Grapple with the Past, which is the green instant that mills 3 and then gets you back a creature or a land from your graveyard, because I think that card also has a lot of potential in this deck. Okay, so opponent just ramped. Guess I'll just hit for 1, and I think I'm comfortable taking it a little slow here. There's no need for us to go super crazy with the self-mill. Citadel Gate, black. So if our opponent goes like Forest into Chrysalis, we have an answer. Is it just another, yep, another Wildfire? But they have a follow-up play, because otherwise they should have tapped the Swamp. 2 mana, cast down, Ichor Wellspring, Ichor Wellspring. Okay, now we have 2 Tethmos and no things to pair them with. Guess I'll start with a Greeter. Oh, guess I can't cast that without green mana, right? Greeter. Forest is decent. Now, do I want to just go kind of crazy with this? And I think, yeah. Because the fact we have 2 Tethmos means that we need to find something else. Yeah, there's another Basilisk Gate. I am fine with this. And honestly, maybe we just start pressuring our opponent. Like pump for 3, attack, pump for 3, attack. Could be good. Krark right now would be 2 damage the way things are. Another Wellspring. Refurb. I think the first refurb I'm okay discarding a High Priest. If they have another refurb, it might be a little more difficult. Doesn't look like they do. So they are probably... Jesus, we drew all 3 and no instants or sorceries to pair them with. Okie dokie. So I guess I am starting with the Accursed Marauder here, and I am just gonna sacrifice it to itself. Opponent didn't do anything. Guess I'll just pump a Town Greeter. I don't really need the life gain right now. If our opponent wants to cast down a 1/1 that already drew us a card, that's fine by me. And it looks like they do. No, they still hit the Matic. Yeah. And hitting the Matic makes sense if they plan on playing Krarklan this turn, which looks like they will. 3, 4, Chrysalis. Oh no, just Pulso Murasa the Refurb? Sure. So the second Basilisk Gate is pretty good. Maybe we just discard the other Tethmos. I know we lose on a lot of our power if we don't have it, but oh, we do have a Pit Keeper in the graveyard, right? I think we just discard another High Priest here. Another Wellspring. Okay, so opponent is tapped out. Now opponent is definitely tapped out. Ooh, that's a pretty decent draw. So I think right now we try to like set up our board as much as we can. So let's just attack first. I am not pumping this turn. Hit for 3. I can't imagine our opponent will be blocking. They won't. So what are we getting out of this High Priest? I think the first thrill of the hunt is gonna get us back Pit Keeper comes in, which gets us back maybe Vandal or another Tethmos. Maybe another Tethmos so that we have the option of doing that. Yes, I would like to use that ability. Pump the Tethmos. And then the next one, I think, gets us back a Masked Vandal to exile the Refurb. And I'll just get rid of an Accursed Marauder because we have a lot of those. Okay, so we kind of did our thing, and it's going to be completely undone by a single card. Yep, there he goes. So if I had to guess, our opponent is just going to sacrifice their Wellsprings. They're going to wipe our board. They are then going to play some sort of Graveyard Hate to knock us out of our game. Yep, there goes the board. Refurb. Yep, I'll get rid of a Marauder. Is that the third Refurb? Oh, no, not yet. And there's the Chrysalis. Oh, Crypt Incursion. Yikes. Yeah, it's going exactly as I thought it would. Krarklan Shaman is just a beating for us. And the fact that it's Krarklan Shaman plus a bunch of Graveyard Hate just means that this matchup is a complete nightmare for us. Let's see if we can get that 2-3 that I've been telling you guys about. Welcome back to round number 5. We are on the draw against Bonbonero. This hand is not gonna play. Mulligan. This hand will play. And it actually plays pretty well. I mean, pretty well might be a stretch with this deck. Is this another? Oh, God. Campfire. So, Campfire probably means that it's some Fog or maybe Gardens variation. Campfire. Swamp Campfire. Okay. Nile Spellbomb into Swamp. So, this is looking to just be Turbo Fog or Gardens. Both don't seem to be great matchups for us, but we do have double Masked Vandal, so maybe we can do something with that. And our opponent now, and we missed the third land drop. I mean, we have a third land drop, but it doesn't generate colored mana. So our opponent knows what we're about now. They saw all the colors, they saw a bunch of our creatures. Witherbloom Campus just tells me that it's Black Fog. Okay, so since it's Black Fog, what do I want to do? I probably want to hit the Spellbomb right now, right? Or do I want to Pit Keeper? Well, let's attack. So I think the first Vandal just hits the Spellbomb because this is a thing. Oh, they just let it resolve? Guess they weren't expecting this, huh? Okay. So our opponent for sure should have cracked the Spellbomb there because now they just gave us the opportunity to keep 3 creature cards in our graveyard and 3 creature cards that are actually very relevant. Tithing Blade. I'll get rid of the Wayfinder, sure. Okay, this is... So I thought it was Gardens, then I thought it was Fog, then I think it's Gardens again because Fog doesn't normally play Tithing Blade. I mean, they can, but they normally don't. Guess I'll 3-mana Rumble now, since they don't have Graveyard Hate. Yeah, guess I'll take a land drop, but it's a colorless one, so crash in for 1. And actually, I think we might just have to filter a black here and Pit Keeper one of our dudes back. Is it Wayfinder or is it High Priest? Wayfinder. High Priest has the highest upside, which I think is what I'm gonna do, but we can't currently cast and bring back a thing. Yes, I am never not gonna bring a creature back. I like this card so much. I played with this card in paper something like 12 years ago, I think, when I first started playing. What is this? Weather the Storm? Sure. When I first started playing Pauper, and I played this in like a bunch of very bad Tortured Existence variants. It was never great, but I do think this is an effect that is underused in Pauper. Sure, right now we have a million graveyard hates flying around everywhere, but a 2 mana creature that has 2 power and can just buy you back the best creature card in your graveyard is something worth considering. Oh, so black it's like black green pestilence? Okay. Okay. Pestilence is like horror. We drew another Basilisk Gate. Okay. Alright, buddy. Pestilence is really bad for us, of course, but we can just kill it with the Vandal right now. Yeah, I guess that's where we are, right? Vandal, hit the Pestilence, get rid of Informant, and then I think I just Mesmeric Fiend. I know the Fiend is gonna be bad in this. It's just double cast downs. Okay. So I know the Mesmeric Fiend is gonna be bad in this matchup, but I'm gonna play it regardless because at least it stops our opponent somewhat. And they drew a draw spell? Must be nice. So opponent has a cast down in hand, County Garden, sure, map, okay. That actually makes a difference because it blocks now. Okay, opponent just passed. I'll play a Manor Gate, put it on white, play High Priest. I know opponent has cast down, but we can do something with our Thrill of the Hunt. And by something, I mean probably just bring back Pit Keeper. Okay, opponent blocks, they take a damage, pass the turn. I would imagine opponent just kills our High Priest right now. Where is this going? Oh, it's going at the Mesmeric Fiend? Okay, so, huh. Okay, so resolves, you can get your card back. Oh, no! No! I was supposed to do the thing at the end step, but I didn't have priority because I don't have a stop during my end step. Yeah, I should have, because the thing I was gonna do is immediately bring the Mesmeric Fiend back and hit the other cast down that they are gonna have in hand. They Bojuka Bog. Annoying. Uh, guess I'll Thrill of the Hunt the Tethmos, bring back the Pit Keeper, and yeah, you can kill my Tethmos then. You should let me target first. Yeah. Bring back the Outlaw Medic. I already said yes. Okay, so you bog and then you kill my Tethmos with the trigger on the stack. Sure. You exile everything. Pass the turn. So our opponent had a good turn, but we can also just do our lands thing here and keep pressuring. Sure, they did their thing, but we still have 3 creatures on the board and they're gonna take 8 damage and lose their plant. I'm fine with that. Maybe I should have pumped the other Vandal, right? Because I think I missed a point of damage by doing that. Yeah, should have pumped the other Vandal. They gain 2 life, that's okay. Bounce the Bajuka Bog, bounce the County Garden. Okay, they just passed the turn. Guess we'll keep doing what we're doing. Pump here, cast down. Okay, pump here, hit for 9. Do you have another cast down? Yes, okay. So cast down number 3. Cast down number 4, actually. That's all 4. Wow. Okay, that's good, I'm not gonna lie. Duress, sure, you can take my Thrill of the Hunt. So your Duress was worth half a card. We don't want to see... What is this, Avenging Hunter? Oh, they're gonna, yeah. Eviscerator, sacrificing the Tithing Blade. Okay, play a dude. Annoying, but I think that's ultimately fine. Guess I'll green Wayfinder. Try to hit another land. We do. We also hit a Tethmos in the graveyard. White. Do I want to force them to chump with this plant, or do I want to play my hand? But I can't really play everything right away. So I think I just do this now. Play the Mesmeric Fiend. What do you have? Just a bunch of swamps. Okie dokie. So in since you just have a bunch of swamps, guess my next turn is just gonna be try to kill you, gain 2 life. I don't quite have lethal, I think, though it's very close. 3, 6, 7. I have 2 activations. Okay, so pump the Mesmeric Fiend, pump the Wayfinder, hit for 17, and if they are gonna block for sure. Yeah, okay. So I don't need to do anything else. They'll just take their damage. Did you draw a draw spell? Yikes. You drew the best draw spell, by the way. Okay, gain 2 life. Take your damage. They didn't draw with the insight during their end step, sacrificing the campfire, which leads me to believe that they have an answer for my board. Lembas, don't care, don't care. I mean, actually kind of care, because now if they double Lembas, they're out of kill range. Double Lembas plus campfire. I guess I should pay attention to what they're doing with the Lembuses. Nile Spellbomb is annoying, but okay. They bottomed twice. Okay. And they immediately crack the Spellbomb to draw a card. Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that. So I guess now they could... Oh, pardon me. They could Pestilence? No Pestilence? Okay. So I don't think anything changes in our plans. We'll just do this thing, pump it, do this, pump it, hit for 17. They need to sacrifice both Lambas and activate the campfire. They have exactly 5 mana, so they can do all of that. But then they're gonna drop to 1 life. Excuse me, 2 life actually. Sure. Okay. They are surviving here, but they need to wipe our board, and being at 2 life means wiping our board is not the best proposition for them. Sacrifice the Nihil? What's this? Oh, they don't have a draw spell in hand, so they're going to insight from the graveyard. That leaves them. So Pestilence is no longer an out. They have 7 cards in hand. Numbers again. Okay. Is this a Weather the Storm? But I think a Weather the Storm still doesn't save you. They bottom, draw, play a blocker. I think again, we just keep doing what we're doing. And let's see what happens. Block, die. Good, great. Okay, so our deck did what it was supposed to do there. We just had creatures in play, and then even when our opponent had the necessary removal to fight against our creatures, we just had like a couple dorks that just took over the game by using Basilisk Gate activations. So the Vandals, obviously great. Marauders, obviously not great. Doesn't seem like our opponent has anything that the Marauders hit. Mesmeric Fiends are tricky because they get swept up by Pestilence, and I imagine our opponent's going to have more wipe now. Maybe Crypt Rats or something along those lines. So, Tamiyo Safekeeping, I think it's an easy include. Is Dust to Dust playable here? I think it's playable, but it's unexciting, right? Because again, they need double thing, and they don't play any artifact lands. So would I rather have 2 Mesmeric Fiends or 2 Dust to Dust? The artifacts are important for them, but not as much as for other decks. Fairy Macabre is playable, but it's not exciting. Guess I'll just bring the Mesmeric Fiends back in. And is that that? I think so, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's try to put that 2-3 on the board. Okay. So, game number 2. Yeah, I guess we keep this, right? We have our callers, we have our creatures, we have a protection spell for the Tethmos if we need. Okay. I was just thinking about this right as I was sideboarding. And I was going to say, the way our opponent deck was built, it looked like it could be a Cauldron Familiar Pestilence deck, but we didn't see any Cauldron Familiars in game number 1. So I didn't want to bring Fairy Macabre, of course, because of this. But yeah, now our opponent is coming out the gate with their strategy. Cauldron Familiar plus Nutrient Block plus Lambas. It's just a very grindy control deck, right? With that said, I think I'm interested here in just trying to hit their hand as fast as I can to see if I can snag a draw spell. They don't have a draw spell. They just have they just have like double removal plus pestilence, meaning that I'm just gonna take the cast down here because it's the most efficient card. Oh no, God, I thought about it the right way and then I did the wrong one. I was gonna say that I'm going to take the Chainer's Edict because if they want it back they need to cast down, and cast down is more efficient, and then I did it the other way. So now they can just Chainer's Edict my Mesmeric Fiend away, and which they probably will. Yep. Yeah, so I did this in the wrong order, for sure. So guess I'll just Triton. I don't want to town greeter super early. Oh, and we mill the Basilisk Gate. Rough. Okay. So I'll play this, put it on white. I think white's the most important color in the matchup for our tricks. However, with that said, Tamiyo's safekeeping doesn't protect you against Chainer's Edict, but it does protect you against Cast Down, which our opponent now has in hand. So maybe it's fine. And I'm going to be very tempted to block with the Cauldron Familiar here, I think. To block the Cauldron Familiar with the Mire Triton. Actually, I think I'll take one more damage and then I'll start blocking. Because if our opponent doesn't have their fourth land, I don't want to give them a free look at the land by just sacrificing the nutrient block to the Cauldron Familiar from the graveyard. This Golgari deck is a little strange. The build is... I think there's definitely potential. Pestilence is like a powerhouse that's just not in a good place right now. I mean, it hasn't been in a good place for a few years in Pauper, right? But there's just so much power there. And I guess if you can survive the Temple decks and the aggro decks, Pestilence plus removal pile is just the nuts. Because you have all the graveyard hate for the graveyard decks. Are you just cracking the block? Okay, so they are eviscerators inciting the block. That's fine. I mean, of course it's good for them, but at least they don't have that in play anymore. Do you hit your fourth land? I think I block. Yeah, I think I'm okay blocking here. Another nutrient block. Oh, they didn't have their fourth land drop, so I did the thing that at the beginning of the turn I said I wasn't gonna do. Oh, but they still don't hit the land drop. Great for us. So, guess I'll land. I have black, white, green. So, guess I'll black again here. And I'll probably just, guess I'll town greeter, right? Because then that gives me the chance of hitting a spell in the graveyard. We hit a plains, but don't hit any spells. Okay, and we're back. Just had to go get the door real quick. We played our town greeter, we passed. We are still up on clock against our opponent, which is great. Always the thing we want, especially in a slow matchup like this one. Okay, so our opponent is taking their turn. They missed their land drop last turn. Okay, so now they Fanatical Offering. They have like they had three, yeah, and they find a bounce land, which is just excellent for them. Bounce land just allows them to have this land drop plus the next one. And did they keep the Wellspring? They did keep the Wellspring on top. I'm not gonna be blocking the cat. The cat's now a 2/2. But our opponent does have to discard a card, and they discard a Tithing Blade. Okay, so we have a chance to now attack, and I actually want double green left. I'll just play a Tethmos, and that's a Tethmos High Priest with double Tamiyo safekeeping protection. I don't think our opponent should try and kill it, but they do, so I'm gonna safekeeping. And then I'm gonna target something from the graveyard. I think an Outlaw Medic, because it's a creature that life gains and is able to gain us cards once it dies. So our safekeeping just resolved, which is amazing. Yeah, I think our opponent definitely jumped the gun on that one. Because I don't think there's any motive for you to try and do that while I have mana up. And the Tethmos doesn't do anything. It's just 2/3. Okay. Campfire. Okay. No attacks, of course. Black Dragon's Gate's good. Put it on... I think we're okay with white now. Put it on green. I am gonna go to attacks. I imagine they block with the Magic. They block the Magic and then they take 2. Now, knowing that they didn't have a follow-up, I maybe should have hit the Mesmeric Fiend. But overall, I think that's fine. I'm gonna Vandal now, and I am just gonna hit their Campfire. I think the Campfire is just too annoying to stay in play, and I will just play this Mire Trident that we have going on. Hopefully hit something. We didn't hit anything, but that's okay. If our opponent tries to Pestilence, they can only currently deal 2 damage, which would be fine, since 3 of our creatures would live. The only thing we're missing currently is the Basilisk Gate. Another Campfire, annoying, but fine. County Garden, sure. Pass the turn. Yep. Rafine's Informant. I'll play that, but I'll play that after combat. I'll attack with everyone except the Town Greeter. So I imagine they block one of the 1 power creatures, and then they take 5. So we are dealing them damage. What is this? Cast down number 2. Well, I have bad news for you, friend. Tamio safekeeping number 2, and now I will bring back the Mesmeric Fiend. Ooh. Okay. So our opponent is going to be able to wipe us out, right? So how do I want to try and do this? I think I just take the Pestilence, then our opponent drowns in sorrow, gets the Pestilence back, but they can't do anything with it. Yeah, okay. Because alternatively, if we take the Drown in Sorrow, they just get to go Pestilence and wipe our board. So since that's gonna happen regardless, I would rather just take the Pestilence first. And now in the face of an imminent wipe, I am not gonna be playing my Raffine's Informant. I don't think the game's going to be about that. They are likely going to attack with the familiar. I'll get hit. 5 cards in hand. So I believe I know about these 4. No, because I took the Pestilence. Maybe they have an extra land in hand that I forgot. Yeah, because I remember the only spells were the Insight, the Drowning Sorrow, and the Pestilence. Keep in mind, we are 3 minutes up on clock, and our opponent theoretically has to win a game 3. So there's probably the attack that I mentioned. Yep, I won't be blocking. I'm fine. Maybe I should have with the Town Greeter to save a couple points of life. Nile Spellbomb is annoying. Sure, Drown in Sorrow that we were expecting. Okay, so the Nile Spellbomb now has the chance to exile our whole graveyard. They have their Pestilence back. We just draw a land. Like on one hand, I want to play this, but on the other hand, I know that it kind of doesn't matter because I believe I would have to hit a Mesmeric Fiend or a Trick. I mean, I guess we could hit a Trick, right? Yeah, fine, I'll play it. I think it's pretty close if I play this or not. Theoretically, we could also hit a Basilisk Gate to get some damage in immediately, and that would be like 5 extra points of damage. Maybe that is the difference. Connive. Ooh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's very good. So leave a black mana, play Pit Keeper. What is this? Crack the spell bomb. Oh yeah, I guess it's not as good as I. No, I mean that's not true, right? Like, sure, it's not gonna do what I want because it's not gonna save me from the pestilence, but it does force them to crack the Nihil Spellbomb early, meaning that I do have a better shot. Okay, meaning that I do have a better shot later on. Okay, so hit for 4. Opponent is down to 10. Opponent is going to go down to not to 7 this turn because of the pestilence. Yep. I mean, I guess they can wait. They won't wait. They just want to wipe the board immediately. Okie dokie. Oh, and there's the Basilisk Gate that we wanted before. Ooh, and there's the Thrill of the Hunt that would have been really good for us. Okay, so guess we pass. I am not going to concede because there is just a very good chance our opponent is going to time out here. Again, they need to win this game plus another one in the 5 minutes that they have. Okay, so their pestilence didn't go away. Campfire number 2, sure. I am pretty sure we are locked out of the game now though, because they have a pestilence active and they have um, a food in play that will just allow them to bring back the cat like once, probably another time eventually once they find another one. You just bring back the cat now. Yep. Okay. And this is 100% one of the problems of this deck. The deck is just very slow, and our opponent played very slowly too. Thrill of the Hunt again, sure. God, this deck, my deck, I mean, my deck would be so good if we had access to some decent man lands in Pauper. Can you imagine just like activate your land, pump it with the Basilisk Gate? That would be hot. That would be very good. Unfortunately, it is not the case. How many Nile Spellbombs are they playing? Is that? Oh, it's just the second one? Okay, it's just the second one this game. Okay. Pestilence, Pestilence, Pestilence. What do you have? Another Coney Garden? Okay, gain 2 life. Okay, are you just... Okay, so the Pestilence just dies. Ooh, we hit a thing. And this is actually really good because it's 2 creatures in 1. Even more. Ooh, look at us go. Okay. So we are not completely out of this one yet. Green. Guess I'll tap this one. I'll play the Tethmos and I'll just pass the turn and I'll hold up double trick. I think our opponent is going to Pestilence again. Sure, that's fine by me. Okay, So our opponent is trying to play fast, but it's gonna bite them here. Because yeah, they're gonna deal another damage, and then when they go to deal the third one, I'm gonna do my thing. And they are just gonna lose the game. Wait. Oh. Oh, opponent. They paid for Campfire using the black mana instead of the final trigger for Pestilence. Okay, they have another swamp. Okay, okay. But they're not gonna do anything? Okay. Untap. I'll just pump. Hit for 8. Opponent down to 7. Okay. Deal 1 damage. Sure. Gain 2. Gain 2. Uh-huh. 6 mana. Deal 1. Deal 1. So in response to this one, I am going to Thrill of the Hunt, targeting Outlaw Medic. So the Medic comes back. Is my Thrill of the Hunt resolving? It is. Okay. 3, okay. And then in response to this one, I will Thrill of the Hunt again, targeting my other creature. Connive. Discard the Wayfinder. Pestilence again. So this would be the third hit, meaning that I can Thrill of the Hunt again. I'll take a Heap Gauge, sure. And then I think they need to activate one more time. Do they still have black? They don't have any more black mana, meaning they're just gonna get got by my last Thrill of the Hunt here. And yeah, it's just gonna go at the Tethmos, because it brings me back my Pit Keeper. I mean, it's gonna die regardless. Yep, and our opponent is just dead. Okay, so that was really cool. That was very good. I thought that we were going to time out our opponent, but we just won 2-0 because they attempted to do the pestilence thing in a way where, I mean, we got lucky because we just had the thrills of the hunt stuck in hand for a while. But that was very fun. I really liked that one. So I'm gonna come back here with the final thoughts on the deck in just a bit. Okay, so final thoughts on the build. Just like every other build that I tried, it was a 2-3 record. I think that there are some very cool things that we are doing here. I think that the interaction between Mesmeric Fiend and Tethmos High Priest to like discard your opponent inside their draw step is really cool. I think that the interaction between a Cursed Marauder, especially in a metagame where Blue Terror is so prevalent as it currently is, I think just being able to bring this card back again and again is very strong. Outlaw Medic, as we saw in the matchup against the red deck, is just a powerhouse by itself. It requires a 3 damage removal, and it gives you another card, and if it goes unchecked, it just takes over the game with a Basilisk Gate. Masked Vandal is a really good time to be playing Artifact Hate right now, and you just get some people sometimes with it. The Pit Keeper actually had more impact than I thought it was going to have. Of course, it's not the strongest creature, but it being a 2-drop that kind of allows you to chain. Like you trick your Tethmos, bring back the Pit Keeper gives you back another creature in hand, which is important against board wipes and whatnot. Very good. Mire Triton was fine. I think this is still one of the flex slots in the deck. Uh, I think this card could easily be a lot of other things. I think the benefit of this card is, again, against Terror. It's very good against Gurmag, Tolarian Terror, Cryptic Serpent. It does gain you a little bit of life, which is relevant. It does attack into and blocks Kessig, Flame Breather, and Gutter Snipe, and things like this. But ultimately, I think the biggest problem of the deck is just that the power level is not here. I think the synergies are here, and the synergies, when they work, they are really good. But at the same time, your cards individually, they don't do a lot. And in a metagame where Jund is one of the best decks, that's really bad. You're a total dog against Jund. You saw in the matchup that we played, even with a bunch of artifact hate in the sideboard, it was not good enough. I do think this deck is decent against Spy. We didn't see it in this league, but in the other 3 leagues that I played, I think I played against Spy something like 5 or 6 times total, which was a lot. But Fairy Macabre plus a Cursed Marauder is really good, and I didn't even have the Pit Keepers before. If I were to play this league again, I think I would cut the Mire Tritons for Grapple with the Past, which is just a good card in and of itself. It can give you back your Tethmos, it can give you back a land, a Basilisk Gate that you mill over. Very important there. I like the Raffine's Informants. They are decent creatures, but I think they underperformed in regards to what I was expecting from them in this deck. I thought that they were going to be this card that you like play early and you pressure your opponent, and then it trades like 1 for 1 sometimes, and that's just not happening. It is just here because it's a good 2 drop. It gives you some selection. It lets you get rid of some of your more useless tricks early on in the game. But overall, I think this could also be something else. I think in my head, the Raffine's Informant was going to be like a fair beatdown plan for this deck, and I don't think that materialized in the way that I wanted. With that said, I think the deck was really fun. This deck is really fun to play. It gets frustrating sometimes because I do think that there are like some games where you want more from your cards, but then you are left with just useless combat tricks that are not gonna help you in the way that you need. With that said, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video if you want to see more of this content. And also check my Twitch TV channel. I am trying to play all of the videos that I record on stream as well to interact with some people during the downtime of the rounds and whatnot. And I hope you stay excellent. Have a good one.